All right, so this is game number one of the second match of semifinals. It is going to be Swiss Sugar versus the Grills. I am co-casting with Harrison here. Really exciting to cast with him. This is I like casting with Harrison a lot. The map is Fraser River. This should be an exciting match.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody here, and somewhat bit of a role reversal here. Actually, the man with the knowledge, the man with the talents, the man with the insight, JaiLeD is a pro in the team game scene, shall I say. I'm here just for the fun of it, but I'm sure JaiLeD will be providing us the tactical insight that is very prevalent in a 3v3 team game and how it somewhat differs to the 1v1 meta game. JaiLeD, we could go for individual players, but you know them by their team names, and I'll leave it to you.
All right, yeah. So we have in the bottom left of the map, we have spawning Mr. Bramboy for India, Cornet for with France, and Unreal Dennis, a late substitute, but both teams are cool with it. Playing for Ottomans, playing with the Ottomans, and in the top right of the map, we have the Grills. We have Ironic Virus playing as France. We have Hot Girl playing as Russians, and we have Japan for Jean Ralphio. Should be really interesting. Some civilizations I was not expecting for this map.
Meant to be two. Rip. Oh, that's a rest in peace. It's there's so due to how the map spawns, I've tested it a few times. It's like a 10% chance of not spawning with two cherry orchards, and it was attempted to be fixed in the last time. And I believe it was fixed and may have been fixed in a 1v1 spawn, but team games may offer some extra issues for spawning. I believe it's due to how close and clustered some of the resources are. But Japan player missing a cherry orchard, which is 5,000 food off the bat. That is brutal, and that's crippling.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Not having a second cherry orchard or any berries, that's really, really rough. We are gonna get into the rehosted game very shortly here. It doesn't. One thing that's really intriguing to me is usually when things don't spawn, it's usually due to like mines being close or trees or something like that. But it didn't look like that there. It didn't seem to be uh, too much of
No,
anything close to see.
it's not something you can see, but it's just a how the program source. And this is a map which was created by one of the ESOP map creators. I believe it actually someone who originated from the Samurai Revolution scene. And so obviously we're not Microsoft developers. Small issues arise, and you know the idea of new maps is brings variety, but eventually you can test them and sort some issues out. But once that is all sorted, and the other thing is it's so rare that it just doesn't happen, and it's easy. I think it's one of those things you can easily see at the start of the game. You're going, "Oh, I'm missing a cherry orchard." It's not like you're halfway through this game and going, "Oh, hang on a minute, there's no more coin mines in the valley. Where did the coin mines spawn?"
Yep. We're ready to join.
No, it looks
Oh,
like Bram
no, we're not.
failed.
Okay. Yep. We'll wait just a bit.
Bram boy letting the team down here. What can I say? Typical Brammers.
Have you seen Bramboy play in many tournament settings before?
Well, no, maybe back in like 17, 18, he may have been in the opening rounds of a few of the ESOP tournaments before Mr. Bramboy became a staff member. But ever since Mr. Bramboy has taken the overlord position, or I mean, community staff member position,
I like overlord position. That works best, I think.
he has tended to abstain from competitive play, which is a bit of a shame because he's actually a solid player. He's really, really naturally talented, and I can say I've been trying to play at a decent level for a while. Not over putting so much time into it. Maybe like 10 games a week, 15 games a week. I'm not really overly trying, but captain, I'm happy with that rank. I think it's a respectable rank to have. But Mr. Brandboy, Lieutenant Colonel, and that is some serious talent there. So it would be nice to see him in the EPL, but respectfully, he's not. But this isn't ESOC. This is JAILED's own branded tournament, and Mr. Brandboy is going to show us why he's a decent player. Unfortunately, though, this is team, and so far what I've seen of Mr. Brandboy playing team, a lot is to be desired from.
Yeah, he's tried to do a lot and make it work. We do see two cherry orchards, so that's nice. He's playing only a couple civilizations in team, his best civilizations, and he's been trying to learn it quickly. He was somewhat excited to actually play team though, so it was surprising. We have this is the first game of the second semifinals match. It is between the Grills, aka Hot Girls team, versus Swiss Sugar, aka Corny 98's team. It is going to be Hot Girl in the blue, Jean Ralphio for Russia, and then Jean Ralphio in purple for Japan, Ironic Virus in pink with France. We have Corny 98 in red as France, Mr. Brandboy with India in green, and Unreal Dennis in orange.
I just had a look at the map, and looks like there's a change between 1v1 and team. In the team variation, we have 6 trading routes along the map, so 3 per side. But also each player gets an additional elk hunt, and 3 elk hunts within your short town center radius, like very, very close. Now that I've seen this, I'm now expecting a more of a kind of a standard 1v1 style play with lots of players going to go for somewhat of a semi-FF here. It feels a bit of a strange map to go aggressive on, considering so many in-base resources and how close the town centers spawn to each other.
Yeah, we do usually see something like that. A little bit more FF play, a little bit more boom. We did see that Team Haza was taken down by my team due to a strategy that involved really aggressive play and denying them of natural resources. Around 20 minutes in the map, 20 minutes into the match, they had absolutely no resources. They kept on trying. They tried really hard, but we were able to starve them natural resources. So there is options, but it's definitely most common to do something like an FF or something like that.
And in terms of FFs and that kind of power play, I'm looking at the team selection here, and I'm thinking that Mr. Brandboy's team, the team with the Indians, the French, and the Ottoman, just feel to be stronger around that 10 to 15 minute mark compared to the French, the Russians, and the Japanese, where even the Russians strong very early, but they do come into their own very late game as well. But I feel in the middle part of the game, the civ advantage is going to go for Mr. Brandboy's team. So I'm looking to see if the team on the northeast of the plateau are going to push the agenda.
Yeah, it could be for sure. Japan is able to get a full shrine boom out by 8 minutes or so. So it could be really, really close. We'll see what the timing is between these players. One thing to note is that Russia, Japan, and France is... both civilizations can defend pretty well, but you see Russia, and I think in team games, they're really, really good at defending. They are pretty decent at pushing too, but the blockhouses are very good for defending. Japan is, of course, a very turtley civilization. India does have the Agra, so we'll see if he goes for Agra or Carney first. That could be a little bit of a hint whether he goes for an FF or not.
So, Mr. Brandboy's a good player, but he's not a 500 IQ player. That villager's in the middle for the Agra fort. He could have had that villager there to show to his opponents, hey, look, I got a villager here, but actually sneaks down a Carney Martyr back in base. But Mr. Brandboy is going to go for some somewhat of map control. If you turn off the fog of war, though, he's guarding this middle choke, but the choke extends far right to where the Agra is. And so the Agra isn't really fully covering that passageway, but I suppose it's covering the direct line to where all the resources in the valley spawn to the north of that Agra. There's also one choke to the left-hand side of that Agra across the pond, which can be utilised by Hawk Girl's team.
Yeah, he would be able to put it more in the middle of that whole marsh if he decided to. But what this tells me actually is that they're going to be going a little bit later game because that controls the whole lake or most of the lake. So perhaps they're looking to possibly add some docks later and some warships. We'll see what they do with that though.
This is nice from Corn 98. Have a look at this. He's stealing one of the trading posts from the other team, and that just ensures and just tries to bait the other team into going to military units in the second stage to retake their own trading routes so they can get the stagecoach upgrade. With the Ottoman player aging up with the quartermaster, 400 wood, that should be enough wood for Ottoman to drop down another 2 TPs or drop down a TP stagecoach and allow the Indian player or the French player to go for a second trading post, and just allows easier access to capture their own trading routes while trying to delay their opponent by being annoying on their own side of the map.
Yeah, yeah. It is I really like the play to build that there. Especially if they're going to get some units out early, just enough to control the TP line. Then it's a really nice. I do like the aggro coming out. It tells me that they are going to do a little bit more of map control, which is very viable on this map, especially. Yeah, I like it.
So looking at Hawkgirl's team, we do see a defensive ward from the Russian player, but that's just guarding the side access to one of the bases. It'd be quite annoying if like 3 Hussars get in among your town centres and just go from one town centre to another, continuously causing idle time. But in terms of military buildings, I'm struggling to see many. We do have a barracks from the Japan double blockhouse just on the kind of verge of the valley there, but not too far forward. In base stable from the French, while Korn's team, nice little close friends here. Aragra Fort, Artillery Foundry, stable in very close proximity, and looks to be playing. Well, I'm not going to say they're going to go all in at this point because I feel that with Korn and the Ottoman player, they could have gone for more aggressive shipments, especially the Ottoman player going 700 wood, 4 villagers. I'm not a fan of that one.
Yeah, it's not super common. 3 vills, 700 wood, 700 coin is really common if you're trying to get a lot of Abus out. But doing 3 vills, 700 wood, 4 villagers is decent in team, I feel like. Much more decent than in 1v1. It's still more common to go 700 coin in team, but 4 villagers is an option for sure.
Yeah, look at this though. Like he's delayed on throwing his train post down due to not sending maybe 600 wood as well. There's a stagecoach on one TP line at the moment, and if let's say John Raphael's explorer nearby catches wind of this and tries to steal one, that'd be quite nice. But Japan doing what Japan does best, shrine his opponent's hunts. Nice amount of Hussar mass coming out from Korn at the moment. Bramboy going Woods Trickle 5. Sepoy's first cards, but the Ottoman player has 7 Abus guns. I'm still unsure whether these guys want to be playing aggressively or kind of they're just being safe at the moment. It feels like they're keeping the options open, but not committing to either option at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's smart on this map. If you commit too hard to the rush, you're going to fall behind too much economically. So if you are focusing on controlling the map and still booming at the same time, I think that's a really good way to play it, especially this map. Looking at chat real quick, I updated the overlay for you, Minu English. Glad to help you with that. Also, Daniel, the score is 0-0. You caught us in the first game. A little bit of technical problems, but we are good to go. And it looks like Corny98, his team, Swiss Sugar, is trying to take the map really well. One thing to notice is Japan has done pretty decently booming. He's on 130 pops, so you see that he has 10 shrines out already. Really well done by him.
So we're going to push in from Bramboy's team, Sepoys, Abus Guns, Hussars. I'm looking at Ironic Virus's bank at the moment. He's got about 700 food, 700 coin. Not many Hussars out. Okay, there's his 9th Hussar, but he feels like he's undecided whether he wants to age up here or train more Hussars. And Korn has a much better massive Hussars up because he's been spending his resources. Sepoy is doing very well versus against the Ashes, and the Abus Guns are just working their magic behind this. This is a good fight so far for Mr. Bramboy's team.
Yeah, really, really close. I like the defender's advantage and the Cossack come out right on top of the Abyss. Well done. Defender's advantage is really, really big. We do see a blockhouse already went down, but looks like it's a very close fight. And by the end of it, it looks like Swiss Sugar's team is able to take the advantage though, and they are pushing them back. The Abyss in the back just doing so well versus the Ashy.
Yeah, and where is the French cavalry from Ironic Virus? Okay, we do see another 6 Hussars coming in. Cav HP has been sent for both French players roughly at the same time, near enough the same card order there. But Abyss guns are still alive, and these guys are focusing down the Ashy Garus and just leaving the Khorne's Hussars just to go on top of the Strelets. Not enough Strelets here to take down the Sepoys, all of them, and it feels like the micro here from the Khorne's team is just better. It's just picking off any reinforcements being trained now. Who needs defender's advantage when the other team's just that better micro?
Yeah, the micro, I've been told recently that who cares about team, micro doesn't matter, but when you get to high level like this, micro matters a lot. Of course, macro and other things matter a lot too in team, but yeah, micro matters a lot, and we see that there. The micro from Swiss Sugar just doing really, really well. The Abyss guns take down the Ashy super well. The Cav actually defended the Abyss guns a decent amount, but they also took down Strelets. The Sepoy focused the Cav really, really well. Well done by them. We see the population, we see that military advantage strongly over to Swiss Sugar right now. Economically, it is advantage to the Grills team though. So we'll see if they can hold on and hold on long enough for the economy to kick in.
So here's the difference. Because they've won that first engagement, Mr. Bramboy sent foreign login, Khorne sent a second Cav upgrade, Osman player has sent double Abyss gun upgrade. But on the other team, we've got 5 Cossacks being sent, 13 Strelets now being reinforcing, 5 Ashies from the Japan player, and 3 Hussars from the French player. They're having to send unit reinforcements to remass, and okay, they have slightly better eco at the moment, but it looks like Mr. Bramboy's team are getting away with better shipments because they can afford to send better shipments, while the other team are kind of having to send their military shipments just to hang on and not get rolled over. Yeah,
check out that Abyss mass. That's partly due to sending 4 vills earlier. It's definitely more of an economic approach, but that Abyss mask is pretty decent. I really, really like that. The Ashy and the Strelets are not going to stand a chance versus those numbers.
Yeah, I'm not a fan though of going double Abyss HP upgrades first before an Abyss attack. Abyss guns with good micromanagement from the rest of your teammates should be in the backline and protected anyway. You really want to maximize their high attack, so buffing that attack stat would be much more beneficial. Could lead to a bit of overkilling, but could turn a few 3-shot kills into 2-shot kills, and that would be much more impactful there and then with an extra bit of HP. Okay, Ironic Virus pushing out with lots of Hussars here, single upgraded. Khorne's probably got the same amount of Hussars, maybe a few less, but Sepoys are here to deal with this, and it looks like Defender's Advantage. This is a strong military push out from Defender's Hawk Girls team. They have a slightly higher military population, but those Strelets, they need to not all go down to the Abyss gun straight away. They need to work their magic on the Sepoys.
What I really, really like here, really good positioning from the Hot Girls team. They cut off the Swiss Sugar's team from reinforcements, so their units are not going to get reinforced at all. That's a really, really nice Abyss mask. We'll see how well it does though. It looks like the Strelets are in on the Sepoy. Nicely done. All the Ashley go into melee mode and get on top of the Cav and the Abyss. Well done by him too. The Cav from Ironic Virus need to get on top of the Abyss. We'll see if they're able to do so. It looks like they are going to be able to. This is a good route from the Grills. Well done by them. I really, really like the positioning of that fight and the execution of it.
Okay, so they have lost this mass. The Abyss guns need to try and get the most amount of value possible. Shooting down Hussars here is probably not the best point. Just try and pick off these remaining Ashy Garus. Behind this, though, Bramboy's going to the 3rd age, and I don't know whether this is a planned team call or not, but losing all this military mass, they could have just fallen back to their aggro forts and tried to play the game at that point after taking that initial lead.
Could be. One thing to note is that India does get Team Yurumi in age 3, so that is going to be 12 Yurumi out, which is
Uh,
pretty decent if it's used really well. So it is really nice to have that. They are super behind militarily. We'll see if the Grills can make an advantage of this military numbers right now, though.
Yeah, but timeout. Surely this is a big problem here for Mr. Bramboy's team. All 3 of their team members are agents of the Fortress Agents. You guys will be sat there thinking, surely that's a good thing going to the 3rd age, more town centers, better shipments. But when you got all 3 of your players going to the 3rd age, the nice way is one person ages up, and the other 2 players can kind of cover their initial shortfall in the military. But they're all aging up. The military population is 138 to 44. That's 3 times the amount. It's crazy. And Ottoman has invested 3 cars into his Aegis guns, but his Aegis gun count is, well, small because he lost his entire army. And we're thinking, like, actually, from this point, is the other team, all 3 of them aging up? This could actually be a mistake from them.
Could be. We do see a little bit of walls coming out from Unreal Dennis real quick. I do see that Bramboy has opted to change to Zambarax. That's an interesting choice. I don't know whether I like it or not. They do not do as well as Sepoy versus covering Abyss due to not having a meat shield in front of the Abyss. Zambarax do pretty poorly in close range versus cavalry. But they do have very good multipliers versus cav. We'll see if the players can micro well. One thing I would really like is to see a wall in front of their FB, just protecting their aggro and whatnot a little bit better. We don't see that though. We see them trying to control the shrines a little bit and just stabilize, which I think is a good move here. If you can stabilize, then it's really good. We see the Grills. They are now all hitting age 3 too. So really, really close game. The scores are very close, within about 40 or so between both teams. Yeah, we see the Explorer go down for Unreal Dennis, going to delay his TC some, and really really good pickup by him.
Yeah, that proper sucks. This TC is so close, but do you wait for the Ottoman Explorer to revive itself? Or do you buy it back for 100 coin and then walk it over? I think now you probably wait for it because you only need 100 HP for it to yourself revive. But Indian player throwing down TCs, Ottoman player throwing down TCs, the French player throwing down TCs, all in the same spot. I'm sure the other team will be doing the same thing as well. But we're talking about how, Hawkco their team has the military advantage, but they're not pressing it. But the reason why they're not pressing it is because the Japan player, he's jumping to the 4th age.
Yeah, he is. We also see Corne 98 jumping to the next stage too. That taking down that Explorer was actually really big. We see he already has another TC queued up, but it's not going to go. That is also delayed. So it really was. It wasn't delaying just one TC. It was delaying 2. So well done by them.
Kree settlements is spawning here, so the Kree, they do have access to CDBs. Kree Riflemen, though, also very, very tanky units, and for the price, you might not be getting a lot of firepower for them, but native units, just send them to the front line, where they're best suited, absorb all the fire from the Strelets and actually Garen Musketeers, do a bit of good damage back. So that's where the Kree units are very strong. Also, they have a nice tech. Kree Tannin, 5% HP on all cavalry, infantry, and Coyote Runner style units.
Yeah. One common strategy with France in team games is to go for native cards. They have quite a few, but we see neither French player has gone for that here. So perhaps not necessarily oversight, but not adapting to the map as they could have. We do see a really big mass of Zambarax out. It is 44 Zambarax. There are 1 population each. They are it's somewhat comparable to 22 goons, but they're pretty decent. They do really, really good versus cavalry, but not very good versus anything else really. I like the Courageous mass out from Corne though.
Well, they're comparable to Raiters, but it looks like the Aegis guns are going to be a little bit caught out here from these honors. Ashy Garys, that The Zams here are the meat shields, the Avis guns are the damage dealers, and Mr. Bramboy's gone for the Zams because they're just better at protecting the Avis guns than what those Sepoys were. Because the Sepoys at this point were just getting melted by the remaining units. Okay, those Avis guns have moved to the back. The Cuirassier mass is getting pretty strong here, and Gendarme Cuirassiers are now being researched from Khorne.
Yeah, it looked. I really like the flaming arrows out from Japan. That's really, really nice there. We see he has shipped it Age Forge, 4 of them in one go. We do see a good amount of Abyss out. We see the Team Urmi were sent. The Zambrax kind of got melted in that last engagement. They have to sit behind the Abyss, but if you sit behind the Abyss, then Cav will do really well. I do like the choice to go Goons by Ironic Virus, though. Versus Zambarak, Goons beat Zambarak pretty handedly, and while Abyss are really good, Flaming Arrows, cannons can deal with them well enough.
Yeah, and I think Ironic Virus has realised that his team has got Shredder's one of the best skirmisher style units in the game, very cheap, very cost effective, just can send them forwards and just easy to replenish. We have Ashigaru Musketeers from the Japan player, very strong, upgradable heavy infantry, which scales very, very well. And you don't need cavalry at this point, but you just need something to protect the Strelets and just protect the Ashi's being overwhelmed. Ashigaru's not the greatest versus cavalry, and also, you're playing against Age 4 French player with also, Cuirassiers, so that's why Ironic Virus has gone for the veteran Dragoons. Could go Cuirassiers later on, though.
Yeah, the Abyss mask has been dwindled down quite a bit, and they're not firing on the Ashi. The micro from the Grills team just a little bit better here. I think they're gonna take this fight.
Well, and as long as they're out of range, poking away, then they're going to be picking up some good number of kills. I just saw 4 units go down then to that Abyss gun mass, 4+12s from the Ashigarus, and more Zambrax. They do have both the camel upgrades, and Mr. Bramboy is sending camel upgrades even in the 3rd age. These are age 2 shipments, and you could ask, should Mr. Bramboy opened up with Zambrax instead of the Sepoy play?
Yeah, I think Sepoy or Howda perhaps would have been better. At this point, certainly they would be better. Howda are really only good versus Cavalry. They have that 4 times multiplier. 22 attack, 152 HP, that's nothing much to write home about. They are pretty cheap, 60 food, 60 coin, but it would be nice to see some Howda or some Sepoy out.
We haven't seen too many upgrade cards, but actually now that, Hawkgirl's team are pushing out, they've actually managed to send refrigeration from the Russian player. 43 villas currently on food sources. The other French player sent both the refrigeration Royal Mint, but I suppose Khorne has sent both factories, and at this slightly mid-game point, I think the factories are paying off that bit more than refrigeration and Royal Mint.
Yeah, we can look at the economic units to see how much that's affecting. It's actually really, really good for Japan. He's on 65 villagers, so refrigeration is going to do quite a bit there. About the same as a factory, though, as you're saying. Factory is worth 12-ish villagers or so once it's upgraded. So really, really nice from Khorne getting those factories in before anyone else even hits Age 4, besides Japan, of course.
Having a brief look around, and quite a lot of the natural resources for Mr. Bramboy's team are starting to already run thin, and that's the problem when you drop 6 town centres on the lower valley portion and not even control resources down this side of the map. In contrast, though, the Japan player not taking natural resources because he doesn't need to, sat at base, and there's more resources to go round for the Russian and the French player down their valley.
Yeah, neither player has gone for the 2 mines, 2 hunts over here. Neither team has gone for 2 mines, 2 hunts. But those are pretty key. 2 mines, 2 hunts run a long way. But they've decided to not opt for that. They have gone for more of a centralized economy. We see that Swiss Sugar has pushed back this fight, though, using the Culverins, using the Falconets, and the Abyss. We see the Gendarme not doing a whole lot versus the Ashy and the Goons. We'll see if he continues to go with that, or maybe he could even switch it up and go into some skirmishers or something like that. French skirmishers are very, very good. Could also go heavy into cannons and still pump out some Gendarme. We'll see what he does.
So Korn has 60 CDB and 5 CDB. Now just sending 10 Courier des Bois sent to its hometown centre. They're straight away onto the woods. And with the sawmill upgrade, if I think that's correct from Korn's UI, these villagers are much better gathering, or that 10 CDB shipment is better gathering wood than what a factory can do. And he's got his factory on upgraded coin, so that's the best way to have your late game eco. Factories on coin and lots of villagers on wood once you have all those upgrades in, so that's really nice to see. And Korn's eco surely must be in a great place now and only accelerating.
Yeah, we can see he is on par with Japan. Japan tried to boom hard this game. So we see France on par with Japan's score-wise. That is really, really good for France. Corner 98 playing really well. Yeah, the 10 CDB is a nice shipment. We also see that he has made use of the Cree. So he has 5 of the Cree CDB, but no other player has gotten some of the Cree CDB yet.
And that Cree 10 upgrades 5%, not much, but on Kuya says that is 25 HP bonus, and you got about 10, 15 there. That's a substantial amount of extra HP these units have as a collective for that small upgrade, and it was readily available there. So well done for Korn for knowing his natives and picking it up when he could. We do see a bit of a side build on the right side, but being denied by a couple of militia. Outposts being thrown down. Really nice, providing a lot of line of sight here for the Osman player and the team in general. Mr. Brownboy now going up to the 4th age to match the 4th age up from the French player of Ironic Virus.
Yeah, Ironic Virus just hit age 4, like you're saying. It looks like the Unreal Dennis is pretty close to aging up himself, and Hot Girl is pretty close to aging up himself too. Looking at it, Ironic Virus could potentially go to age 5 fairly soon. No other players are really, really close. Corny 98, it's a possibility, but he's a little bit behind Ironic Virus. Alright, so looking at it, you mentioned the Minutemen taking out that villager on the stable out from Ironic Virus. That's a good move. Really good stable out from Ironic Virus, trying to put pressure on the right-hand side. But and really importantly, we see petards here. Those are 10 petards. They can do a lot of damage. If they have a bunch of units behind that, they could take out some factories or something. Taking out factories in a team game is really, really, really good. It hurts the economy permanently for the opponent when you do that.
Yeah, it's not like Orange has walled off the valley. He's walled off his base, so he will know that those petards are going to smash his way through. But that just gives a Osman player a little less time to react, though. But looks like they're trying to push in onto Brownboy's massive, but there's just enough of his QSA units. There's so many Zambraks here, and these guys actually they are tearing through those guard goons of the French player. Zambraks getting a good trade here, as well as the Abyss guns just firing in. Lots of those Dragoons just falling over, and they went forwards to try and pick off the artillery pieces, but really didn't achieve it. Now trying to move back to cover for the Gendarme. Courier says these guys now tanking all the damage, allowing the Abyss guns in the back row to do all that fire. The Zambraks now feel a little bit out. I think Mr. Brownboy could go for a 2-unit composition here and try and help out. Maybe a few guard Gurkhas could be quite nice here.
Yeah, I agree. Zambrak, so good versus cavalry that it'd be nice if he had a little bit of units, some other type of unit. Gurkha would be really nice here. We see all the gendarmes are down. It looks like Hot Girl's team, the Grills, is going to be able to push this back. Yeah, I don't know. I've been disliking France a little bit more and more in team games. Actually, they have great units, of course, but if the opponent has really good goons, we do have to take into account it is French goons. They only get 1 card for them, so they are fairly weak when it comes to goon type units. We see the Struts going up though, pushing all alone. We'll see if the defender's advantage of Swiss Sugar is gonna come into effect and to make a turn in this fight.
Mr. Brandboy needs to be looking out on both flanks. We have cavalry pushing in both sides. We have Gendarmes pushing the right side, being valiantly held off by the Spahis, but not enough. There's only one wooden gate of 1500 HP. We have 10 Preachniks on the left-hand side as well, and Korn's trying to hold that back, but this is what the Dragoon players really needed for. But there's a factory!
Oh, that factory!
Nearby. That needs to run!
Surely it's going to go down. I'm almost positive Ironic Virus saw it. I'd be very surprised if he did not. Maybe he did not because his gendarmes are not moving in right now.
Oh, no.
And the petards take out the houses. Ouch.
Ironic Virus sending petards for houses and markets. And that wasn't just one petard. That was like 4 petards taking down one house. And population blocking is annoying, but you could have just petarded that town center and had 15 cuirassiers mop up all those villages behind it.
Yeah, we do see Japan moving in here, going on the paper thin EP walls. Looking at the fight on the left hand side, it is Ashy and Goons, just a couple Strelets versus a nice Abyss mask, so they shouldn't do a whole lot there. We see how good the Abyss guns are versus the Ashy. They do not have the counter infantry rifling, which affects them more than any other skirmisher type unit due to going from 1.5 multiplier to 2.5. So we'll see that. We do see that the TC from Unreal Dennis does go down. The gendarmes go in, and I don't think they're even going to take out a single villager. They might. Really close. They take out 2. They take out 2 villagers, but that could have been so much better if the petards were microed a bit better. And of course, if he had seen that factory, that would have been really nice to have taken that out too.
Luckily as well, there's still gendarmes reinforced in the middle, and it's not the French person. Okay, I'm about to say it's not the French players that are getting shattered. It's the Ottoman. But the Ottoman has a nice unkillable massive Abyss guns. The Cuirassier spams what needs, but actually no, the Cuirassiers are leaving the Abyss guns. There's nothing here to protect the Abyss guns. This could be a massive pickup if. We have a nearby stable. That could be a big batch of cuirassiers onto these Abyss guns.
Yeah, it could be. It would be Cuirassiers, though. I don't think he's upgraded to the guard gendarmes yet. It is a really nice push here into the economy. You need to upgrade your walls later into the game like this, or have a lot more walls. Either way, but yeah, really nice push from the Grills to push in on the economy. This is a very good classic game of Age of Empires 3 team games, and we see the really good. Those Ashy are going to clean up a lot of villagers.
This is brutal. Settlers nowhere to garrison. Ashy Garrows can run faster than these villagers. These villagers are busy working, but okay, yeah, they're all working, but at the moment they're not gathering, so. The Ottoman player's eco is already just instantly not great, but it's going to bring so many kills here for the Ashy Garrows.
Yeah, we do see Team Spahi come out, so really nice card there. It's going to do really good versus, honestly, even the Ashy are going to do decent versus the Ashy. The Ashy do not have the upgrade of close combat where they have +1 multiplier versus cavalry. But yeah, just really good. Ashy come in. We see Age 4 Ashy with the upgrades from the Wonder, and they're just doing really well. Really good tactical positioning by the Grills team, and we see that the walls are upgraded from Unreal Dennis, but a little bit too late. The enemy's already in and past your walls.
Yeah, he's also leaving a few cuirassiers just on the wall, so it can't get patched up. Maybe a bit overkill leaving those units there, but you've already done the economic disruption. And Mr. Brownboy, I'm struggling to find where his military units are, but he hasn't got any. He's been purely pumping out his honored Zambreks, but as you've been saying, Zambreks, they're quite squishy, and the fact that he's had to essentially throw away his Zambreks shows how desperate these guys are just to try and hold on to what they have. But more Ashy Garrows, both with the paper cartridge, the flintlock. I don't know if there's a diamond support here, but even still though, 49 attacks, very strong with that golden pavilion upgrade and the Japan consulate.
Yeah, speaking of Daimyo support, we do see another batch of Ashley coming in with a Daimyo. 2 Daimyos now, one ship to the other. This is 3 factories going down. That is, that's damage that cannot be undone. There is nothing you can do about it. We do see the Gendarmes doing well on the other side of the map, though. We look at the economy, it is slightly in favor of the Grills, but it's not something that, it's something that can be, come back with. That's only a 30 difference. Militarily, it is advantage over to the Grills, but yeah, we see all of those Ashy being completely cleaned up by the Abyss. They needed to go back before, perhaps, but they do so now, and that is, yeah, it's really kind of nice to see the Abyss clean up Ashy like that. I don't know why the Ashy took that fight, but yeah, well done by him.
So here's the thing, like, Yosman's eco is not, well, it's been disrupted badly, but the thing is, it's not like he's losing Ashy Garrows, he doesn't have to replenish them. That's what Mr. Brandboy's eco is. It's just all going into more military units because he's just losing them continuously. There's still 50 Abus out, and if they get good protection, there's still a good enough force to try and take on, but a Naginata switch here from John Raphael, the Japanese player here, well, they're only colonial Ashes with no HP upgrade, so they're going to fall over pretty quickly.
Yeah, they do fall over. They could have been microed a lot better, too. A lot of stutter stepping. We see another mass coming in from Japan here. This is, we see a little bit of difference between the players. There's a whole lot of eco for the Grills on this left-hand side here. But there's a lot more eco in the valley, if you will, for Swiss Sugar than it is on the plateau. We do see the Strelets coming in and the Cossacks being cleaned up. We'll see what happens here, though. Yeah, all of the players are age 4. No one is going for age 5. I think this game is going to be decided in age 4, though, so I think that's a good choice.
I can't see on the UI factories lost, but I think both the French and Ottoman factories have gone down. Korn has lost 55 CDB so far. The Ottoman player has lost 44, and the ecos are slowly repairing. But to lose that many villagers, just imagine if they had remained on throughout the entire time, and they could be at max vil pop. But Korn's about 50 vils, Otto about 60 vils, but it feels like the other team, the Hawk Girls team, just slowly getting ahead, and they got full map control, full walling. No, those QSS gendarmes from Korn into Hawk Girls base really didn't achieve much. May have picked off, well, all the Japan wonders are still there, and not many villager kills, looks like.
Yeah, we look at the economy difference now. It says 70 economy difference in numbers wise. That's quite a bit. It might be too much to come back from Swiss Sugar. We'll see if they are able to do so, though. They're going to try to hold on. I do like the Abyss a lot. The Flaming Arrows doing really, really well versus them. If they're microed really well, they can do a whole lot. It looks like those Abyss are going to go down. The Ashy go on top of them. The Flaming Arrows come behind. And, yeah, it looks like a lot of those Abyss have gone down. Ashy plus Flaming Arrows is a really good unit combination there.
Now, I'm waiting for one of the players from Hawk Girls team to actually jump the gun to age up. The French player has currently got 8,500 coin banked up, and it feels like he needs to either invest into the Imperial Age or at least donate to his Japan and Russian ally, because I think Japan's actually carrying quite a lot of the military strength at the moment, and these Honor Dashes are doing very, very strong. But Ironic Virus will soon have that potential to go to the Imperial Age. He even has like 3,000 woods banked up as well. Just a show of dominance from Ironic Virus.
Yeah, we just saw Corne 98. I was watching it. I don't know if anyone else was. He jumped from 4,000 or close to 4,000 food, 4,000 coin, and he is now aging to age 5. Despite being pressured this hard, he's going to age 5. And we also see Hot Girl 300 food shy of being able to age. We'll see if he does too.
Yeah, I like this decision from Korn. The only reason I like it is because he needs to do something, because you're going to lose otherwise. And we have the classic Oprichnik raids with the cavalry archer in their defensive formation as well. They're on the hunt, and actually I think they can stop off these at plantations as well. They're looking for villagers, they're looking for factories. They will see a factory here, but that plantations, villages, it doesn't matter to Hawk Go. Anything's going to get absolutely decimated by its very, very good raiders. And
I will
With
say that Zambraks are really, really good versus cavalry and running units like this. 7.5 speed, very good multipliers. The factory will go down though, like you were saying.
Yeah, and you can never replace those factories, and you can replace guard appreciatics. You just wait maybe for like another, I don't know, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, and you have the resources to replace all of those appreciatics again. But that factory has really gone down. Could go for this plantation. These plantations still cost 600 wood, but actually I suppose because it's only 600 wood, just pick off the vills. It will take time for the vills to be reproduced, and that is what Portgal is looking for. But on the right hand side, we still have, oh, the Apis gun mass is still standing. These guys are unkillable, and I think the Ottoman player was going to have a really good kill-death ratio at the end of it, but that's not going to win him the game.
Yeah, the Kardimata does go down for India. That is really, really huge. The boost from that is what basically single-handedly gives India the advantage over other civilizations economically late game. It's really close in a lot of ways, but economically, huge advantage over to the Grills. They are close to double the economy of Swiss Sugar. We'll see if Swiss Sugar can hold on long enough, though. It's going to be rough for them with Cornet in age 5. We do see Ironic Virus is aging up right now, but with Cornet in age 5, that could be a big impact. We do see these Abus all blocked here by the wall.
You know what? I actually like this switch here from Hawkgirl into Guard Halbs and Guard Musketeers. I mean, you could spam Strelets, but you get to the point when you have so much eco that you can't, push past that 200 population, that actually you might just actually have the Musketeers out on the field as well, because these guys will also take 1 population, but stronger per unit than a Shredder. Obviously, Shredder's better cost effective and very good versus Abus, versus Gurkha, versus Zams here, but when you have that economy to spare, just play it. And like National Redoubt has come in from the Russian player, we have a cheeky fort coming down here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's really nice. Russia can, of course, send a card that allows them to build forts with their muskets. We see some good raiding with Cossack in the back, and we see that the Grills are pushing on the front. So, 3-pronged attack right now. Lots of damage done. We will see what happens here. I expect Swiss Sugar to fall here. The Abus, really, really strong units, but not able to do enough, it seems. We'll see if they can hold on long enough. The fort with probably instant musketeers. They are instant musketeers. That's going to do a lot there.
Yeah, and at the moment that is unchallenged. Hawkgirl currently at 110 population, but now straight to 130. He could be able to span another 70 musketeers from this fort, and 70 musketeers into the heart of this team's eco is very, very tough to deal with.
Yeah, we do see gendarmes, Imperial Gendarme on top of the Abus, and we still see the Abus doing half decently versus it, but that is the best unit basically versus Abus there.
That is so many resources instantly just wiped off the Ottoman player, but he just doesn't have the eco to really remass. Okay, he does still have about 80 vills, but remember, no factories, and then you're having a Guard Musketeer spam coming out from this fort very, very quickly. Look at these musketeers just coming out of absolute nowhere. They're like, oh, hang on a minute, we're under siege, go. And these musketeers going to get a good trade versus Imperial Gendarmes, which are quite coin heavy, and Korn is out of coin. He's only got 200 remaining.
I'm not sure that was such a good trade, though. Look at all of those musketeers that went down. Yeah, the gendarmes really, really good. The muskets from, shall we say, ruskets are so weak, actually. 195 HP. Guard musketeers, 29 attack for Russia. Pretty weak in reality, but yeah. We see that despite being so far behind, trade monopoly, interesting. So despite being so far behind, we see that Swiss Sugar is trying their best. They actually have come up, their economy has jumped some. A lot of those factories cannot be replaced. The Karnimata cannot be replaced. So we'll see if they can do it. If they're able to, that'd be amazing. The Avis guns are very, very strong. We'll see if they can hold down the fort. Both metaphorically and realistically speaking.
It says that Hawkgirl has researched socket bayonet, but his musketeers, they still seem like they only do 19 times by 3 versus cavalry, and that is less hand attack than what an Imperial Gendarme does back. So that's quite a brutal fact to relay. I guess Hortgo probably needs to go into halberdiers here, or just actually Cossacks. Just go mass Cossacks here, because they also are one population and not much anti-cav here for the other team. But the GGs are being called here, and to be honest, about time. And actually, they stayed in the game a lot longer than I thought they would.
Yes, there is a lot of opportunity to come back in games. I think it was kind of over once they dropped below like 230 population, got down to 190 at one point, something like that. It was possible, albeit unlikely for them to come back. Maybe a 10% chance, but hey, 10% chance in a tournament, you want to take what you can get. So yeah, we see that the Grills takes game number 1. Really, really well played by them. We'll look at some of the combat stats, and we'll get into the next game pretty soon here.
Yeah, and you remember how back early in the game we was thinking, what was Mr. Bramboy's plan? They pushed in, got some really good trades and pickups, got a bit ahead of themselves, sent upgrade cards, but then sent their army to like the far south of the map, and then they got cut off by the reinforcements from Hortgo, and essentially all that army was just cleaned up at that point. And I think that was the swing which put them on the back foot, and that kind of window gave Hortgo just enough time to get their team to eco up, and then the game played out longer from that point, but it always felt that Hortgo's team was in the advantage after that massive cleanup.
Yeah, for sure. That was an excellent fight coming out from the Grills. They got between the army and their reinforcements. There was no way that army is going to be reinforced, and they completely cleaned up. Excellent micro in that fight. That kind of did set the stage for the rest of the game, really. If I had to pinpoint one battle that was the most turning point battle in the whole game, that would be it.
It was because it was so early on. Like there are later battles, but you have your eco behind that. At that point, at the start of that engagement, roughly as just what the graph suggests, 124 team population for Hortgo versus 112 team population for Mr. Bramboy. But the population from Hortgo, remains fairly constant with their reinforcing batches and units still being trained. But Mr. Bramboy's team, all 3 of them aged up at the same time, no reinforcements. Their population dropped down to a team population of about 25 to 30, which is between 3 players, pitiful. And went to the third age with no units. They then had to kind of frantically make units just to catch back up. But the other team in their third age, after then teching themselves, they could invest in eco because they already had the military units out on the boards to play with. Yeah,
we can see that. We can also see that the Grills able to really take advantage of the map. Tactically superior in that matchup there. They were able to spread around the map, do a lot of damage economically. We saw all of the fighting in the middle of the map, and Swiss Sugar's teams on the flank was pretty vulnerable, and they took it with the petards and then later the Ashy. Really well done by him. Good use of the petards, and that was an exciting game to watch for sure. We are going to get into game number 2 very shortly here. Looking at some of the chat, the cost to build a fort is 500 wood, 500 coin. Yeah, I don't exactly agree with the constant Zambarax. While they are really good at catching the raids from the Oprichniks and whatnot, I would have liked to have seen some Sepoy or something out, something a little bit more, shall we say, effective use of resources.
But also, like, in terms of that fort, so later on, the fact that it got up uncontested is just such an annoyance for the other teams to try and take down. And I'm just like thinking, 500 wood, 500 coin for that. That is so good value. That is much better than a frontier outpost. And they cost 250 wood, but you still have to upgrade it twice to get to that outpost level. That fort, very nice late on there.
Are you able to join the next game?
Oh, I was waiting for the all clear, and yes, I'm straight in, and I'm ready to go. But I will give me 1 minute. I'm going to get a drink.
Alrighty, yeah. You can see in the 3v3 there's a lot of talking, and it can get a little bit rough on the throat there. All right, I took a drink myself. So Malaysia is picked. Malaysia picked by Swiss Sugar. So what happens is the team that lost the previous match picks the map, and the team that won is going to pick the civilization first. It is team one, or the Grills. They won the last match, so they're going to pick first, followed by team two, followed by team one. It's a team one, team two, team one, team two, team one, team two is how the civilizations are going to be picked. We see, uh, yeah. All
I got
right,
myself a nice ice cold Pepsi Max, been in the freezer for about an hour, hour 10
nice.
possibly, and it's not frozen, but it's close. It's like that perfect like the perfect coldness but drinkability. It's gonna be so refreshing.
Oh, nice, very nice. We do see some interesting civs. So Germany in team games is significantly weaker. They are by some players actually considered one of the weakest civilizations due to their age two being pretty lackluster. They do not have any really good units. The Ulan can be massed, but they're even weaker on EP. They do have a okay boom. Late game, their economy is very good, but getting to that can be slightly rough at times. Their Age 3 is decent with War Wagons. War Wagons are a pretty decent unit. Age 4 is when they really come online, though. We do see Germany is the first pick by the Hot Girls team. Hot Girls team. We see they also pick up India, and just Brits picked up so far by Swiss Sugar. India and Germany. I wonder if they're going to be putting lots of aggression. One thing that Germany can do is lots of aggression early in team games.
I'm gonna say yes to that. I was drifting it out to other stuff in the background.
That's alright.
But okay, so the interesting thing, like thing about Germany is they do have their Germantown farmers. If they can get away with sending that, they have a great eco behind us and have more eco than military. But in a 3v3 where you've got team communication and you're working with your partners, we could clearly saw in that first game how all three of them were working as a team. And that's sometimes that's what you don't see on just generic 3v3 ladder games on either patch. And sometimes it's quite annoying. You're thinking, oh, come on, let's work together. But if the German player is super late on and has an eco population of around about 125, 140, the German player could just bankroll the remaining army. And Hortgirl is playing Dutch. They have 150 military population to spare because of their low villager count. So we could have a bit of tributing resources here to try and fund a strong army. But Dutch, India, German, I think in terms of military, though, not the strongest.
Yeah.
Miro?
Dutch have pretty good skirmishers. India has some good options for sure. War Wagons, I do like War Wagons quite a bit. It is going to be French, British, and Dutch on the other side. Dutch is one of the very strongest civilizations in team games. Their boom is absolutely amazing, being able to build 5 banks right off the bat on the ESOC patch. Yeah, this is interesting. One thing that Dutch can do that other civilizations, or that you don't always expect, is they can actually rush super hard. They have a really, really good age up time, and their economy would be delayed if they rush, but we'll see if that's what they do. Germany, if they're not rushing, it needs to go H3 quickly, because you don't want to be stuck going Ulans versus the French Hussar, or even potentially the Hussar or that comes out from British, although I expect it to be Musketeers to cover the skirmishers. This could be very interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what to expect. On this map, I found that the player that booms a little bit more, pretty much, or the team that booms more, pretty much always wins. But there's a lot of rating. There's a lot of different things that can happen on this map. It's going to be a very interesting game for sure.
So yes, one thing was thinking. Oh really, guys? Really? Are we all children now? Really?
I I don't know if you knew this. In team games, it can be really nice to lower your taunt volume. I didn't realize it was a possibility, something, an option that you can specifically do just for taunts, but it's nice to do sometimes.
What I was about to say was flashbacks to the group stages when I valiantly deputized for Meefoots and Sir Musket's team. We were playing against Mr. Brownboy and Corn and their team on this map, and Corn, with this very civ, the British civilization, went for a full sea boom and has then essentially outmassed us with the full sea economy and been overwhelmed. So I have a sneaky suspicion that Corn, playing in the south right of the map in the colour green as the British, kind of in that not pocket but off the side, can try and hopefully be kind of left alone a little bit and maybe try go for a water play here and just hoping that Mr. Brownboy can take the brunt of the other team's aggression and try and hold out. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we've seen some, or I've seen some scrims. I scrimmed versus their team, and by 7 minutes or so, he had such an advantage that the game was pretty much over just by booming on water. He's very, very good at doing that. He had about 30 fishing boats at 7 minutes, and it's just crazy how fast he can get that out. This is game number 2 of the second match in semifinals in the 3v3 jail tournament. We have the Grills versus Swiss Sugar. It is going to be Hot Girl with Dutch in the blue, Jean Ralphio with purple in for India, Ironic Virus in yellow, doing Germany and are using Germany, and on the other side we see Bramboy with red in red using France, Corny 98 in green using Brits, and we see orange the player Unreal Dennis using Dutch.
I love how you nearly said, and Ironic Virus is playing Germans, doing German things. I'm just sat there thinking, all his settler wagons just gathering food at the moment, not chopping wood for a house. And he's been allowed to drop the trading post on his side of the map. But that's a bit of a long walk for the German player, while it looks like Korn has been allowed to drop the trading post for him. And that's just right next to where he spawns and could have got a really nice early pass of XP. I'm not too sure that's...
It's
it's a single trend route, of course. It's still a single trend route, and it's so long that the German player's going to get the first pass, and that could actually give Germany 2 Age 1 shipments if they really want to go for that playstyle. But it will be a long time before Korn will actually get some XP from his trading post.
Yeah, the trade post definitely favors the team that spawns on the top. It's pretty much impossible to get the pass right away on the bottom. And yeah, really, really well, really good for Ironic Virus in Germany, as you were saying. He's gonna have a shipment already though before, so it's not gonna help his 2 settler wagons coming out. Let's see. Looking at this map for you guys, there is 5 whales a piece in each of the little C's behind each side. It is important to note there is a whole lot of fish though. The fish are much more important for a boom on a map like this than the whales. The whales provide a steady income later on, but it's that fish that's going to give you that boom advantage over your opponents.
And yes, it's still 5 whales. That's enough to sustain your coin income, late game, but it's not as significant as maybe 8 or 10, which a team map you may would have thought would have existed. I'm actually looking at the middle players, and because they're playing in the middle position on a map which was essentially designed to be played as 1 versus 1, their kind of extra coin mines are, well, non-existent. They have 2 tin mines, 2 1,500 coin mines in base, but then after that, they're kind of having to push in this awkward kind of middle area, which is easily contestable and raidable unless they migrate vills off to the side in a slightly more defendable position, but the middle players are going to have a real tough time to gather coin in the game.
Yeah, one thing really important to note, we see 12 of the water buffalo picked up by India already. That is really, really nice for them. On the other side, there's only 4 water buffalo picked up by the entire team of Swiss Sugar. So really, really good for India. India is a strong civilization on this map. They can put the aggro down in the middle, kind of allow a defensive position, and we see that's what's going on. Yeah, there's two things that I really notice about this map every time it's played. One, the boom is very important to pay attention to. Whoever booms stronger often has a really big advantage. The second thing is raiding, like you were touching on. You can raid constantly. The map is very, very open for the cavalry to raid away.
Yeah, it's part of the reasons why we went for aggressive playstyle when we were playing versus Korn's team on this map. Is just the fact that it's very heads up in your face, and it's a short rush distance, and this aggro thought from Jean-Raphael, it doesn't necessarily suggest aggressive or not, but you can easily put pressure on either player town center very, very quickly behind this. So that's the style of what we were doing for that game. But as happened in my game previously before, Korn, Threeville, Schooners coming in, going for the water play, and that early extra experience from that trading post has given Korn another full shipment to send as soon as he age ups. So I'm expecting 700 wood instantly, followed by 600 wood, and hopefully Korn could be like in up to about 30 fishing boats in about maybe 3 minutes time. Schooners in this patch does increase the rate of boats being produced as well, so you'll probably only need 2 docks here to get a really good boom, and that's what we're going to see Korn doing. Drop down a second dock, and 2 docks with Schooners is essentially has the same output as 3 RE docks.
Yeah, unless you send like advanced dock or something on RE. But yeah, it is going to be 50 wood fishing boats with Schooners on EP, looking really good for them there. It's it's rough not seeing any docks out from the Grills team, and it doesn't look like they are putting a whole lot of pressure out either. Just one skirmisher. Or they don't have any military units in queue, actually. Oh, nice. Yes, a dock out from Jean-Raphael on the side. Okay, this is a really, really good play here. If he is able to ship... Oh, okay, we see the home city flag from India over there. He has 2 caravels. He will probably be shipping that. That is going to be a really, really nice timing. Try to stop the boom from Cornet on water. If he can stop it before it even starts, that'd be really, really nice.
Now the once wise, and I suppose he is still wise, but I'm just going to call him the old because he's not as active in the scene as before. But the wise Wiki Cossack told me at the LAN last summer that if you go in water, always drop 2 docks. The reason being is that 2 docks are just so much harder to break than 1 dock. If 2 caravels came in here and picked off this dock, and then, well great, the fishing boats, well, they're dead because they got nowhere to garrison. You're going to have no supporting fire from the dock, and then you can train more caravels from your own dock here. And I'm sure we're going to see caravels in queue from Jean-Raphael, and only villagers at the moment. He hasn't actually shown the caravels just yet. I'm hoping for another caravel play from maybe Germany here, just to send something else to help with this control, because I don't think 2 caravels by itself is enough to deny what Korn's going to do.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. We don't see any warships in queue for any team yet. Jean-Raphael going around scouting to see if there's any fishing boats. You just passed them despite the docks barely being outside of range of each other's line of sight.
So now the 2 caravels come out, and Korn's thinking, oh my god, there's caravels in my pond. But you need to realise the Indian player has sent caravels instead of a shipment like foreign Logan. And, okay, he did say foreign Logan second card, but he's now followed up with improved warships. And on just 2 warships, somewhat questionable. I'm sure he gets in queue. Okay, finally, we had the 3rd caravel coming in, and I think now he has enough ability to try and tear down these docks from Korn. But, Korn, 150 artillery fire from this dock because there's so many fishing boats in it. A 2 caravel shipment here from Korn will clean this entire push up. And I think the flag just moved very slightly then. We may see a water shipment coming from Korn to defend. Or at least 1 caravel being trained here is enough to try and help defend this position.
Yeah, we do see 2 caravels shipped out from Cornet. Really, really good. He does pick off the weak caravel that came out. So it looks like he is going to be able to push this back. Really, really good micro from him. A caravel pops out of the dock at the same time as 2 caravels being sent. It looks like one of the caravels is going to go down from Cornet, but he cleans this up. Really good micro from him. Good timing on all of that. I really, really like that.
So John Raphael is throwing down a castle behind this to try and help stabilize, but the problem is there's no fishing boats in his own docks, there's no supporting fire, and this play from John Raphael has just failed. Like, it's failed in its objective, and without the support from his teammates, it was always going to be a tough task in its own right.
Yeah, for sure. We do see some rating going on from Bramboy. Well done by him. We can look at units lost real quick and see that he did get 3 villagers from the Hawk Girl, and 1 villager has gone down from Ironic Virus. Looking back at the fighting, we do see that Jean Ralphio was able to. Oh, is the caravel going to go down from Jean Ralphio? It looks like it.
It's only 1 shot remaining.
Oh!
He wins that one.
Oh, that was so close.
Oh, he sent European cannons as well. He's still prioritizing his play, and it only takes one of the other teammates, Mr. Brown Boy or Unreal Dennis, just to send a shipment of themselves to help stabilize. And I'm sure the Dutch player at this point can spare a shipment. And oh my, why he sent that? He sent Bank of Rotterdam as card number 4. That I disagree with greatly. He's only got down his 5th bank now, I believe, unless I'm missing a bank somewhere. So that card he sent about 3 minutes ago, has done diddly squat at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Perhaps you should have delayed it a few cards at least. We do see that the whole army from Swiss Sugar was brought back to deal with that, and at the same time, the Grills not taking advantage of this. They did not push out. We do see the Hot Girl being age 3. I don't like that they don't have any water presence, though. They do not have any docks. They don't have any fishing boats. We do know, of course, that Jean Ralphio got some docks up, and I say some docks because he got a 2nd dock up. So really well done there. We'll see if he continues to fight this. At the very least, Cornet's water boom was delayed some because of all that. He was also forced to. Well, he wasn't forced to send any warship cards. We see that Jean Ralphio did, though. Yeah,
I've actually got to say, like, there was a point where Korn had 2-to-1 caravels, but failed to micro it down correctly and dispatch the final caravel and then take down the dock. And he could have, it's just getting worse. This backdoor pressure from John Raphael. Having a quick look. Comparison between Hawk-Girl and Unreal Dennis. Obviously, Hawk-Girl is the much stronger player, but in terms of build order, though, Hawk-Girl has gone out with the 1v1 build order and is in just a much better position than his opponent, Unreal Dennis, who's still in the 2nd age and is just still so big. Like, does Unreal Dennis think that you only have 4 banks in EP? You do get a 5th bank. Okay, he's now dropping his 6th bank after sending the Bank of Amsterdam, but I feel like I want to tell him, you still have another bank to build. He hasn't caught onto this, and this is a horrible build coming out from Unreal Dennis. I have to be blunt here. This has been not well rehearsed and maybe not catching up on the difference between RE and EP. And Hawk-Girl is in the 3rd age. He's got so much advantage. And look at the Reuters pushing in, just picking off the villagers. There's hardly any military units out for Unreal Dennis as well. Okay, quite a lot of skirmishes, but 2nd age, and that age up is still not in queue from the Dutch player.
Yeah, of course, when Dutch goes to age 3, the skirmishers get shadow upgraded, and it's really nice. I think you hit the nail on the head, not realizing that as on EP, you have 5 banks out. He was sending those cards at the time you kind of might. I still think 600 would have been better earlier, but he was sending them at the time when he was trying to get his 5th bank out and then 6th later. So we see Castle out, 2 docks out from Jean Ralphio. He has the advantage in military or warship upgrades currently. We'll make sure we'll look at that. Yeah, okay, so we do see both players, both Corne and Jean Ralphio, getting the defensive hit points for the warships. But Corne already has a decent boom on water. I don't know. It might be just been too little, too late, or something from Jean Ralphio.
I'm looking at Korn's deck, and he's only got 7 cards in the 3rd age. In the 4th age, he's got states, but he hasn't got his European cannons, or was it offshore support for the British naval power, and it just feels so awkward. But that shipment is, with proper micro, stronger than improved warships, because it gives you extra range as well, and the fact that you're fighting an Indian player with 2 cards on his caravels versus your ship's only 1 card, it's just so strong. Both players now getting armor plating, trading tech for each other, but Hawk Girl, like, the reason why Hawk Girl is built so much better, he's now sent 1,000 wood, and without 1,000 wood, he's been able to go for artillery foundry, second stable, lots of houses, most of the villagers on food and coin now. He's got a dock, more fishing boats being made by the Dutch player, while Unreal Dennis is still in the 2nd age, and he's got the advanced arsenal down, and it looks like he's trying to get the age up in now. He's only just thrown down the age up. But Hawk Girl, even sent in 3 flights down to the south side to help out John Raphael, and that is nice. But actually, I feel like what John Raphael's doing by himself is enough to really kind of throw off Korn's eco. Yeah, Korn's not really contributing to the land's fight at all. He's got no military units on the land, and this could be the time that Ironic Virus and Hawk Girl actually pushes their land advantage. Just having stronger players on land compared to Mr. Bramboi and Unreal Dennis, and kind of win like a 2v2 fight.
Yeah, they need to not push in next to the TC though. There's a bunch of fishing boats out from Corne. If they can go over and deal with that there, that'd be really nice. They have a really good warship lead, but they need to make it count. I do like the Urumi doing a little bit of raiding here, but they gotta take out those fishing boats. They have the warships to do so. It's just up to them to actually do it.
Look at the entire army pulled back just at the threat of 4 Urumi, but this is just giving option for Hawk Girl to move in with Reuter's cannons behind this. Reuter cannons are very strong 1v1 composition, but it's also going to do quite well here. Might be outmassed here though by the amount of cuirassiers that Mr. Brownboy's been able to field up. These skirmishers, now veterancy, now they do a lot of damage, 20 range attack, 144 HP, and just enough to actually focus down the Falconets. These Falconets have been ineffective.
Yeah, I do really like one thing that Jean Ralphio's strategies.
Big raid right side. Sorry,
yeah.
Big raid right here. We have Uhlans on top of Corn villagers. They do have the great coats on. Trying to throw down an outpost right side. Nearly being constructed here. Virus needs to micros, but all those vills are going down. It's really close. Okay, all those vills going down in terms of units being lost from Corn in terms of vills. He's lost 12 vills. Unreal Dennis has lost 27 villagers in his base, and this play from John Raphael, who cares about the fish economy? You've got the entire Indian armada off the coast shelling your town centre.
Yeah, and the town center does go down. The frigate coming out from India. So one thing that I do have to say is that Korn was forced to change up his game plan quite a bit. He was not just straight up booming and having a super strong economy after that. Jean Ralphio did a pretty good job of changing up the game plan from Korn, forcing him to respond, and because of that, Korn didn't have any military out, still has no military out, or very little military, has a few muskets, but even the Ulan can clean that up alone. And the aftermath of all of that is that we see the Grills team having a superior economy by quite a bit. Really good push that came in on the left. Really, really good game plan here from the Grills. I really like it.
Honestly, John Raphael here, like earlier I was saying that his play may have didn't work. It nearly got cleaned up, but he managed to escape 1 caravel and 1 villager and establish his position again on the other side. He's been the MVP. His team Urumi have massacred the villagers of Unreal Dennis. I've seen at least 10 villas going down just as Urumi. Mr. Bramboy's eco is looking pretty terrible from the raiding from Ironic Virus, while he's trying to fend his Dutch ally, but with that European cannons, they have enough range to pick off villagers from the shore. Frigates and caravels, 32 range, caravels having 22. It's just such a long fire that the villagers in these towns are just not safe.
Yeah, for sure. We also see that Hot Girl is starting to go on to C now. So it's they have economic theory and gill nuts, but they don't have any other upgrades. Looking at his deck real quick, he does have fish market and rendering plant. So that's actually pretty nice. As Dutch, it's nice to have some fishing boats out. It allows you to actually make use of your extra military population that you have. Really big fight coming out on C though. If this is cleaned up, if Korn is able to clean up these units, he pulls back. I think that's a good choice. Defender's advantage on C is really, really important.
Yeah, well, if anything, actually though, that it feels like it's just such an investment when your teammates are losing the land. You're over investing into the sea at this point. We just see all these QSS being cleaned up by these veteran raiders from Hawk Girl. He does have the coffee trade, so these raiders moving a little bit slower. He does have the Cav combat as well. Cav combat, remember, no Arsenal tech down just yet, but with the coffee trade and the additional 2 banks that provides, Hawk Girl has gone for the extra 2 banks via 1 card shipment, the Advanced Church, while Unreal Dennis has sent 2 cards to achieve the same output.
Yeah, we see that Hot Girl is 1 card up despite all of that. Better macro perhaps, getting the more XP from banks when they're built, and also building units and getting XP from them. He has just been able to do more with less. He has just sent fish markets and rendering plant. His fishing boats are going to be really strong. If we contrast that with Korn's, Korn has not. He sent rendering plant, but it does not have fish markets. Has not sent the whale oil yet. So we see that Korn is going to have Hot Girl is going to have superior economy. We see all of the skirmishers cleaned up here. The Hussar is doing really, really good. That's so brutal. No cover on those skirmishers. That's going to be really, really rough. I was going to say a little bit earlier, I think that with C, I think that Korn's team has an opportunity to come back, but at this point, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's true.
The only military on the field now for Korn's team is Korn's Musketeers in Korn's base at the moment, and he's funding these Musketeers off all that fish eco, but it's not really what he wants to do, what he wants to deal with, and what units are coming out from Ironic Virus and Hawk Girl. And Hawk Girl, this is the 1v1 player coming in, realizing when to tech into veteran Hussars. Team players here will be going pure writers and just continuously spamming that Dragoon, going like, oh, I'm the Dragoon player, you guys focus on these units, I'll do this. But those Hussars cleans up Unreal Dennis's skirmishers after Mr. Brandboy eventually lost his QSM master to the Raiders as well. And Hawk Girl now going Seiko with this long lines, fish market, rendering plant as well, triple upgraded, or should I say, double carded, double upgraded from the dock. Hawk Girl is now in a commanding position, and John Raphael has bought the time for Hawk Girl to be able to kind of, I guess, boom like this. But he's also he's the one with the military advantage, and actually forcing the others into bad situations. And Black Riders from the Dutch, I disagree with this shipment. In a team situation, even more. Like, this is, we can just see the experience levels between 2 players here. And Black Riders, they're good in paper. They're good in 1v1 to defend from Musketeer Hussar timers, but in Dragoon wars or Dragoon skirmish wars, Black Riders are just not the units you want.
Yeah, they don't have range resist. They do have 520 HP, 40 attack. It is somewhat comparable to Imperial goons from Ports or Brits, but yeah, you need a lot more units than that just to make it work. We do see on the right-hand side of the map that Brandboy is doing some good raids. That's really, really nice from him. But yeah, I think this game comes down to Hot Girl just doing a whole lot. All of the sea was cleaned up by Cornet, so he is going to have the sea all to himself now. He's going to be able to focus on land a lot more. We'll see where this goes. Definitely a huge economic advantage over to the Grills. Militarily advantage over to them too.
Korn basically has to 3v1 at this point. Mr. Brandboy's eco is crippled. He only has 7. I repeat, 7 CDBs left alive. And we're talking about how once you run out of coin mine, where do you get your coin? He's not getting his coin mining base at the moment. He has to go down to the sides, but he's lost all his units to the really good raiding from Ironic Virus and Hawk Girl. These guys have been owning their flanks in terms of their military domination here, and Brandboy now has 10 CDVs thanks to the 3TC, but he has no food eco. He really needs to ask Korn for some food help to help remass here, but now teching into land, John Raphael, he's lost the water, but he's bought so much time, and also his opponent's basically crippled. He's in the base basically uncontested, and the entire eco from Brandboy is now idled.
Yep. The entire eco of only a few villagers. It is only 9 CDB for him currently. Yeah, really rough for him. Yeah, like we were saying before this game even started, the game comes down to who can boom better with C and whatnot, and rating, and that's what we see. That's how this game is decided. This map is decided. Ooh, look at this though. That's a lot of muskets in. If they can take out the factories of Dutch, that can be a really, really nice pickup. We'll see. Okay, Hot Girl is pulling back now. Yeah, this is pretty big. We'll see if they do take down the factories or not.
I don't believe this. The Dutch player, Unreal Dennis, is going to the 4th age, but he only has 10 vills and 6 banks. Like he almost has more banks than villagers, but somehow he's going to the 4th age, and I guess he's 4th age sent to factory and just increases eco that way. But these Discipline Sepoys and Redcoats just still buying more time and forcing Brandboy to invest all that coin he's stocked up into Courier Says. I think Korn has been donating foods to both players at this point. That way the Dutch can get to the 4th age, Brandboy can make Courier Says. And okay, this musketeer push is going well, but Hawk Girl, the 1v1, he knows if you have a time in his Dutch, send the Stadhouders if you've got the advanced church card, and these guards, musketeers, holding the musketeers in place from Korn, while the Caribbean Orators and the horse artillery guns behind do the damage.
Yeah, we also see Ironic Virus pushing in on the right onto Corn Space at the same exact time, forcing the opponents to not reinforce onto Hot Girl, all defending on the right hand side there. One thing to note is that Korn's fishing economy is pretty much out. There's no fish left, pretty much. Almost only whales left, so his boom is going to be severely impacted by that. Well, on the other hand, Hot Girl has all the fish and whales left on his side pretty much, and yeah, it's looking really rough for Swiss Sugar. They're going to try to do what they can. This is, if they lose this match or this game, they are out of this match, so they're holding on for dear life and trying their best.
Yeah, you're certainly right. There's no reason to resign early unless it's 100.000% chance, but you can't come back. There's always a possible hero raid and this and that, but John Raphael now goes to the 4th age. Hawk Girl, 5k food, and with 2 factories and 6 banks, should have enough coins soon himself. Go to the Imperial Age. Imperial Age must be the way to break this resistance from Korn and Unreal Dennis. Unreal Dennis now only having 5 banks being torn down from the artillery of Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl is Dutch, lots of coin, just spams out the artillery. It's so readily available to get the artillery as Dutch, and this cheeky 10 Cuirassier flank, it looks great on paper, but there's so many of these Caribbean Orators behind with royal upgrades and cav combat behind this. It's just going to clean these cav units up so quickly, and if anything, that was just a donation of XP and resources there.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do see Hot Girl going to age 5 along with Ironic Virus. When those come in and the upgrades, they should be able to nail it home. But this does give a small window for Swiss Sugar's team. A small window where they might potentially be able to do something. All the resources invested into aging up is not into military. So it's going to give them a small window where they need to make something happen ASAP. I'm not sure it's going to happen. I don't expect it to. But There we go. There's the GG. All right. So well played by the Grills. Yeah, that was a really, really good game. All right. So we see the Grills taking it 2-0. Well played by them. 20 GMT is the plan for finals. Taking a look at everything, I am going to send you guys over to ESOC TV in just a bit. We have a match going on there very shortly. Looking at the Combat XP, we can see how well the players did. Hot Girl doing amazingly. Gene Raffio is the it did a whole lot, though. I think he set the tone for that whole game, doing the dock and the caravels and the bottom before Corn's economy fishing boom really took off. That was really, really nice. Really, really nice from him. We are going to talk about. We're gonna. Confirm the time for you guys. It's either going to be 18 GMT or 20 GMT on the finals. But yeah, really, really good game. We'll look at some of the stats real quick and get into it.
Oh, JaiLeD, quickly, just want to say I'm going to hop off now so I can tend to the other project going on, shall I say, the ESOC game between Kaiser Klein and I Am Turk for some juicy 1v1 action. So I'm going to say my thank you and goodbyes now and hop out the chat. So I'll see you around. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Appreciate it, Hyerson. All right. So, yeah. Well played, everyone. We are going to get into the next game very shortly. Into ESOC TV game very shortly. I am going to jump out of this and send you guys over. I appreciate all of the support. We will have the finals for the 3v3 jail tournament later on today. Keep on paying attention, and I'll let you guys know on that. Sending you guys over to ESOC TV now. I appreciate everything and everyone's support.